welcome to my channel. My name is Laura and I am an assertive life coach. So today I wanted to talk about my journey of sobriety. So some of you may know, but coming up on the 18th, or if you're watching this, I might release this on the 18th. I will be 6 months sober. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey of sobriety and how it mostly came through health issues, but how I kind of had inklings of, having a little bit of a wanting to cut back and recognizing that I was using alcohol as a crutch for my anxiety and for a lot of different things, and seeing how maybe it wasn't so healthy and stuff for me. So how this journey kind of started, the first time I really kind of started to take a look at my sobriety was in December of 2021. And I joined this program called SoberSys. And what really made me kind of recognize and realize that I wanted to cut back was there were a couple things that during the pandemic, I noticed that I had started drinking a lot more. And it wasn't necessarily just around during the beginning of the pandemic. It was actually towards a couple years later when I started really feeling, I felt really ostracized from a lot of my communities. I felt I had been really hurt by family and friends who I felt kind of turned on me. And I really started drinking a lot more at that time, and noticing that I was drinking and then getting more angry, and things started kind of escalating with that. There was one particular night that was kind of my wake-up call. I was really upset that day. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and I wasn't going to be able to see my family for Thanksgiving the next day because we'd had sort of some family fallouts and things with the pandemic. And I was really already in kind of an upset mood about that. And then I went out that night and had a few drinks, and somebody said something that really, really set me off, and I just lost it. I lost it on them, and I was just screaming the entire, I was just angry and fighting and screaming, and just I just lost it. And I think some of it was alcohol, and some of it was just the fact that I had been suppressing a lot. But that was kind of one of my wake-up calls, that I was like, I'm kind of getting out of control with my drinking. And so I had already kind of had this on the back of my mind to do this SoberSys. And so I decided that day, I was like, I'm going to sign up and I'm going to do the December challenge. So it was really difficult to do a 21-day alcohol-free challenge in December, because December was when all the different holiday parties were, and there were so many different opportunities and chances to go out drinking. And in the beginning, it was really hard for me to figure out, okay, I felt so awkward going out and not drinking, and the temptation was there. And it really felt like I was distancing myself from friends, and I would, make excuses, or I couldn't go out. And it just became really challenging for me. But I did stick to the 21 days. And the program itself was really great, because it was designed as a cutback track. You basically take 21-day challenge alcohol free, and you check in either every day or whenever you can on this app. I'm blanking on the name right now, but you post a short video and then somebody else posts another video, and you keep like this chain of videos. So it was really helpful to be able to actually vent and talk to people that were going through the same thing. And we would talk about different mocktails that we had tried. We tried some non-alcoholic wines and beers and different things that other people were suggesting. And if they would go out, what they would do, like you'd have a plan for that night before you go out, and then you'd stick to it, and you'd have accountability buddies. And it was really nice because there were times that it was really challenging. And I remember we had a period where the power went out. It was just overnight, but it was really cold, and I felt like that night I really, really wanted to drink, but I didn't. I ended up just like going for a drive in my car and parking at a parking lot because I just didn't want to be in the house tempted to drink. And that really helped me kind of get through that. I reached out to some of the people on the video chat. So, and then I went through the challenge, and then it was only a 21-day challenge. And then the December, and then Christmas came. So I had already kind of decided, beforehand I was going to see how I felt, and maybe I would do the whole month. But then basically Christmas came around, and I decided that I was going to drink on Christmas. And so I did. And that, ended up turning into New Year's. I went out and drank again. And then, I was like, okay, after this, I'm going to like cut back a little bit. And it was really hard to cut back. It was hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna only drink on these days, or like I'm only gonna drink when I'm going out, or only gonna drink like and I kept trying to find like a happy medium where I wasn't having more than 2 drinks a night. But I would say that to myself, and then I'd be out, and after that second drink I'm like, oh, just one more. And it was always that kind of feeling of like I wanted that that high or that rush, like because as I've actually learned, this is part of like what I wanted to talk about as well. I've actually learned that people who have ADHD are actually a lot more prone to developing a problem with alcohol and or any sort of like substance, because we don't get enough dopamine in our brain, and we need the dopamine hit. But not only that, the alcohol itself gives us the dopamine hit that we crave, but it also lowers our senses, so we're not so sensitive to stimulation from our like sensory, because I do definitely have overwhelm with sensory things, and I find that was why I was craving out. I didn't know at the time, but like now that I look back on it, that was why I was craving alcohol, because it would just like let me just relax. Like it felt like it was relaxing. But as I've actually learned in the program that I was in, that it really wasn't relaxing my system. It was actually more taxing on my system than it was actually helping, and it doesn't actually relieve your anxiety. It actually makes it worse, which is great. Like, it's so funny how we've been lied to, like, just about a lot of things, but like about alcohol, and how it's this great stress reliever. It's this great thing. You know, everyone's like stressed out at work, and then you go out for drinks afterward, and you let loose and stuff, and you feel better. But that's actually, it's tricking your brain into thinking that. It's not actually relaxing you, and it actually makes things like sleep and everything like kind of worse. So as I was kind of learning that in the program, I kind of, I went back to my old ways after that program. And then I kind of was like, oh man, like, you know, I should have probably stuck with it, but I didn't. And I think I did a little bit in, I think it was either February or March. I kind of cut back a lot, and then I went back to it. So I kept kind of going back and forth. So this is 2022. So, you know, that whole year I was kind of going back and forth on drinking, and a lot of it was difficult because, you know, I'd go on vacation and I'm like, well, I'm on vacation, I should drink. And then, you know, I'd feel, in a sense, sometimes it felt like I needed it for my anxiety. I needed something to help with my anxiety. And, you know, it helped for a little bit, but then it kind of made it worse. So then I just felt, you know, like, well, I'm just, you know, maybe it's not good for me, but I'm just going to keep continuing to do it. And then, so last year in August, almost as the same time, almost exactly the same time this year, last year, I was out, I think it was, I was out at a bar, and I was particularly kind of, dealing with a difficult person. Let's just put it that way. I was dealing with somebody who really called me out on something, and I just completely lost it on them. I was drinking, and I was having a good night at first, and then this person, we got into somewhat of a political debate, and he ended up calling me a stupid idiot, and it really escalated, and I felt so angry and so hurt and so horrible. And this was the accumulation of a lot of what I had felt during the pandemic, and a lot of like the things that I couldn't express, and the things that I couldn't tell people about what I had, you know, experienced, and the fallout from friends and family, and all of these kind of things. And I just snapped. I lost it. And so I was drinking, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna keep drinking, and thinking it was making me feel better, but it was really escalating my anger, and I was like, you know, not in a good place again. And I was actually on my way to talk to one of my friends about this guy and what he had said, and I was so angry, and I was walking outside, and it was at night. I couldn't really see very well, and I was stomping. I was like walking really hard, and I stepped into a hole, and I broke my foot. And I didn't know it was broken at first. I thought I had just like sprained my ankle or twisted it, but I could not put any pressure on it, and it hurt like hell. And luckily, I went inside and got some ice on it, and I just started crying, and it was just tears of like just all of the anger from what I had gone through. And like I was like, why do I have to experience this? Like, why does that person not get their karma? Why do I always have to like and I was just so still angry and sad, and just all of the things were like coming out for me. And so I ended up, I couldn't drive because it was my right foot. So I ended up calling my dad, and he picked me up, and we went to the hospital and found out my foot was fractured. My second metatarsal, if you know what the bones in the foot are, and it would basically be at least a month and a half. I mean, at that point, they had told me 4 to 6 weeks. It's a lot longer than that to really fully recover, and I can still feel it in my foot, now. But that was a big wake up call for me, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not saying that it was all to do with drinking, but it was definitely a huge part of why I had like broken my foot. And I was just like I'm literally hurting myself. Like, I'm hurting myself doing this. Like, why am I so angry? Why am I doing this to myself and hurting like my body? And just like it really hit home. But apparently it wasn't enough, because that whole process was so frustrating. So I felt, so I couldn't drive. I couldn't even get up and down the stairs by myself. My mom had to help me get in and out of the shower, which was totally debilitating, and I felt like a child. I had to ask for even a glass of water, because I couldn't carry anything with my crutches. I was on crutches for about a month and a half, and then I was partially weight bearing, and then I did physical therapy. So it was actually from the end of August last year, until November, actually till that, right before Thanksgiving, that I didn't drive. I couldn't go. I mean, there were parts where I was starting to walk and stuff, but a month and a half I was on crutches and basically hobbling around the house. So it was really, really rough, and it was a huge wake up call for me. But still, throughout it, I drank a little bit, but I noticed I didn't drink as much. I definitely didn't drink as much, because every time I drank, the inflammation in my foot would hurt a lot more. So I noticed that, and I was like, you know what? I was able to cut back a little bit, but I still drank. And I was like, I can't, I was just like, I needed some relief. I just felt so stressed, and so it was just everything. It was so overwhelming, and I felt like I just needed that sense of relief, that I kind of felt from alcohol. And it just, it wasn't working. It wasn't, as much as I tried to convince myself that it was helping, it really wasn't. And then, December, I felt back to normal. I was able to drive again, so I started going out again. I did start drinking a little bit. I wasn't drinking to excess, but I was definitely drinking more than I should have. And I just kind of went back to what I thought was normal. And it was, I was trying to be cautious, and I was really grateful that, from being away for so long, that I was so grateful that I was able to get literally back on my feet, again. And it's still, in the physical therapy, is still taking a long time to really, feel like I was back to myself again. And then the holidays came around, and the holidays felt different. I didn't really go shopping as much, because just even at that point, just walking too much on my foot, I would get so inflamed and it would hurt. So I kind of did a lot of my shopping online and just kind of didn't really go as many places or do as many things for the holiday season, which was actually kind of nice. And then January rolled around and New Year's Eve again. And I had actually joined that December. I had joined because the sober sis thing had ended a while ago. I kind of kept in touch with some of the people, but it was, a year later in that December, I kind of reached out to some people and was talking about my experiences and what had happened. But I was still, not really sure. But I joined this program called Reframe, and I was on the cutback track. So if you don't know what Reframe is, it's an app that is for sobriety, and or if you want to cut back. So there's two different tracks. You can do completely alcohol free, or you can do a cutback track, and they give you different they give you all this different information every day that you can do some research on how alcohol affects you and how it and the different things that are going on in your body. And then also it gives you options if you're having a craving. There's so many different tools that you can use in the app itself to help you. Plus, almost every day there's a Zoom meeting that you can join from the app. So I started going to some of the Zoom meetings and I kind of really liked it. I was like, oh, these are kind of cool. I really like these, Zoom meetings and stuff like that. And they're really helpful. And so I noticed that they were actually having a Zoom meeting for people on New Year's Eve. And so I joined it because it was the first New Year's Eve that I was having I had kind of gotten in a fight with a friend. So I didn't really want to go out to a bar, and I didn't really have anywhere to go that New Year's Eve. So I really just decided, and I had to get up early the next day. So I just decided to stay home that night. And I was planning on having a few drinks, but a few ended up turning into 4 drinks. And I did this while I was on the Zoom meeting for the Reframe app, which is ridiculous, and I should have I kind of knew it. I was I shouldn't be doing this while I'm watching this, but it just felt weird having a New Year's Eve without drinking. And I just felt really weird and lonely, and I just kind of didn't really know what to do. And I just, so that's why I did that. And that New Year's Eve, not to be TMI, but I actually ended up getting really sick. And I ended up after those 4 drinks and celebrating ringing in the new year, I ended up in the bathroom the rest of the night. And that was really the start of me noticing significant health issues. And I had actually noticed different liver type issues. I had a lot of skin rashes for years that I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I was having, some other issues and stuff like that. But this was the first time it was really significant. So that happened on New Year's, and I kind of was oh yeah, that's, and so I decided, so I really didn't feel good the whole rest of the day and stuff like that. And so I decided to do the Sober January. So I did the Sober January challenge in the Reframe app, and I kept up with the checking in and going on to meetings and all of that kind of stuff. And I really started to enjoy it. I liked the Zoom meetings. I liked I liked the connections, and it was definitely helping a lot. And then, I went, and then after January, I was like, I could go back to my old ways, but I'm like, do I want to? And it's just this back and forth of like, should I, shouldn't I? But I ended up going, back to drinking. And I ended up, the last time I drank was in February 18th, I think is my, the last day I drank. So February 18th, the night before I drank, I had 3 drinks. And then the next day was really sick again. And I ended up, having a lot of issues, and it was another day that I was, planning on seeing family, and, I ended up being really sick for it, and it was not fun, and, I was actually really concerned about my health and starting to think, like there's something definitely going on here, and I really just was like, you know what, like, I don't think my liver is processing alcohol, and I think I should stop. And it really took that, like, how sick I was and how bad I felt to be like, no, this is like right now I have to prioritize my health. So unfortunately it had to happen that way, but I am really proud of myself, because I haven't had a drink since, February 18th. And I've been going through, I don't know if you've been keeping up with me, but I've been going through some very significant health issues. So in the beginning, it was kind of hard to really, like at first it was hard because I wanted to drink. And then in April, I don't know if you saw, I was in the hospital. I went to the hospital and they diagnosed me with infectious colitis in my colon. And they basically, I was on rounds of antibiotics and was just trying to figure out what was wrong with me, what was going on, and why I was like feeling the way I was. And I felt horrible, and I was just my quality of life was just changed. I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do much of anything. It was just really bad. So at that point, there wasn't even like a thought of like drinking. Like it wasn't even like I really wanted to drink at all. It was just like, just do everything you possibly can to like make sure your health is better. And like that was just the priority. And so I really worked hard on that, and I cut out things in my diet and really just like cleaned up my lifestyle and just like really reducing toxins and getting things to cleanse out toxins and all of that kind of stuff, and really started to feel better. It took a while though, because really it just like this past month and stuff has been significantly better with my health issues. I did end up going to a doctor, and I ended up getting a prescription for an antidepressant that is also treated for IBS. And so that significantly helped not only that, but my anxiety levels. And I honestly was really, really hesitant. Like many people, especially somebody who's spiritually minded, who doesn't, trust the pharmaceutical industry and really wants to go more natural, I was trying to blend both. So I did see an Ayurvedic practitioner. I got herbs. I went through all of those protocols, and it did help. Some of it did help. I also saw my naturopathic doctor. I went more on the blood type diet. I'm cutting out, I'm already gluten free, but I'm now dairy free as well, because I noticed that I was actually wondering, I'm still wondering if I am lactose intolerant now, because every time I've had dairy, it kind of causes a flare up. So I am wondering about that as well. So I've been learning a lot about myself, about my body, about what I need, what kind of toxins I'm putting in, and how to like really clean up my body and clean up what I'm fueling myself with. And I also know that I have tried everything for anxiety, and I know it's like, just you don't have to push anxiety away, or like there's a reason it's coming up. I understand all of those things, but I really got to the point where it was causing health issues for me. And it may be a temporary thing for me, but honestly, getting on the antidepressant for now has really been helpful. And I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not telling anyone to get on or not get on or stop their medication or any of that. I'm just saying, like, really what has kind of worked for me has been a combination of changing my diet and lifestyle and herbal supplements, and also a little bit of pharmaceutical. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to kind of like balance that and figure that out. But today I'm really celebrating the fact that I am 6 months sober. And I never really thought I would get to this point. They say it's like one day at a time. And for me, it was more significant about my health issues. But I'm really proud of myself. It hasn't been easy, and it is true. It is harder to, so it does feel a little bit harder to socialize. I'm not gonna lie. There's times when I'm like, oh, I want to go to this place, but my dietary restrictions, first of all, I'm like, okay, I can't have gluten, I can't have dairy, I can't have all of these things. So that's one thing. And then on top of that, I'm not drinking. So I can't just like go and have a drink at the bar. Although I have been actually finding a lot of bars offer mocktails, which can be as pricey and or, a little bit less than alcoholic drinks. So sometimes places charge you just as much, if not, like a little bit less. But they still charge you a decent amount of money for a non-alcoholic beverage that has, same thing. So my drink of choice right now, non-alcoholic drink of choice, has been a Virgin Moscow Mule. I love those. They're really great. It's just ginger beer and lime. And I've actually been finding at the grocery store, they have different flavored ginger beer. So I have like a tropical flavor that I'm really love right now. I also like this brand called Recess. They make CBD infused drinks. So it has a calming effect to it. They also have mocktails. So they have margarita, a mojito. They have a couple different ones that I've tried, and they've been really good. I've also been meaning to try, my grocery store I found they have non-alcoholic wines. So I haven't tried it yet, but I will let you know. I have the White Zinfandel right now, so I'm going to try that at some point. It'd be nice, like, if there's like a classy evening or an evening where everyone's having a glass of wine, to kind of feel like you're participating. It's all about kind of feeling like, you're still an adult, but you're participating and stuff with people. But it's all up to you. If you don't want to do any of the mocktails, or if that reminds you of alcohol at all, that's your choice. But that's just, some tips that I've been learning. I've been learning to know there are certain places that I know what drinks they do offer. some places are actually offering mocktails. They have it listed on their, most places, if you go and ask for non-alcoholic versions of things, they will make it. But some places actually offer specific mocktails that they make, which is really nice too. So yeah, so I'm learning a ton of things, and it's been really, really entertaining. I mean, I feel like I've been learning a lot about myself. It has been a little bit challenging, not gonna lie, especially with the dietary restrictions and the, not drinking and all of these things. But I feel like I'm going through all of this for a reason. I think that, if I can help one person right now, I think there's definitely a reason that I'm going through all of this, and I really hope that, I can help somebody. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm going to be sober forever. I don't know if this is a journey of, for right now, if I will be able to go back and have like one alcoholic drink or, a few drinks with dinner, or that kind of stuff once my health improves. I haven't made that decision yet, but like for right now, I'm really happy and I'm really excited about this journey, and I think that I'm learning a lot about myself along the way. And I hope, as a life coach, that this can help inspire you and can help, bring some clarity to maybe a question that you had about your own sobriety or your own journey with alcohol, or, whatever else, health issues. If you're going through any health issues and stuff, maybe this can help. And then I also wanted to mention, so another celebration for me is that I am getting very close to finishing my certification as a trauma-informed life coach, specializing in narcissistic abuse. So I finished the narcissistic abuse specialization at part of the coaching program. So I'm really excited about that. I went through the whole program and I finished my narcissistic specialist part of it. Now all I need to do is 2 more case studies and uploading a quiz and uploading my information and stuff. But I'm getting very close to finishing, and at the end I will have an ICF and CBD accredited certification. So I'm really excited about that. And once I have that, I am going to be opening up a lot more coaching spots. So stay tuned for all of that. I've been working really hard behind the scenes doing that. And yeah, and if you're interested in the case study, I do have one person that is interested, and possibly a couple other potential people. But I am looking for people to do case studies right now. And I will probably be offering, right out of the bat, I'll probably be offering a little bit of a discount to my coaching service just to kind of start out, and then I might up the price. So just stay tuned and let me know if you are interested in getting any sessions with me. I am still also looking into a EFT tapping certification, and I will still be starting to offer those as well, the EFT tapping sessions, because I find that modality is really, really helpful for people. So okay, I think that's all the announcements for me and celebrations. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, thank you guys. Bye.